Tracy Sharon with PIA of Arkansas. I wanted to be able to bring you something regarding disasters and some preparation that you can do for that during this. We have reached out to PIA National as well as a national director from San Juan, Ariel. He's going to be visiting with us about what he does during disasters because he's been through quite a few of them and he's probably an expert on it at this point. And Mike Becker is going to join us with PIA National. He has some ideas about some membership benefits that you would be able to use during a time of disaster with the tornado season upon us and COVID-19 and who knows what else we're going to go through in the next few months. I just wanted to be able to give you guys something to enjoy to watch and be able to refer to when you have questions. Ariel, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am. Stacy, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for having me. And as you said, my name is Ariel Rivera. I am an agency owner in San Juan, Puerto Rico and Jacksonville, Florida. I am the national director for PIA of Puerto Rico. I've been in the insurance industry as an agency owner actually for 16 years now. Started very young. I'm still young, by the way. But before I pass this to Mike for his introduction, first I want to say our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Arkansas, especially Jonesboro. I know you guys are going through a tough time, so anything we can do to help you, we're here for you.
Thank you, Ariel. We appreciate that. This is wonderful what you're doing for us right now. So
thank you. Thank you.
I know that when we were visiting previously, you said that you had 3 different points that really work well for you that you've used in the past disasters. I believe the first one that we visited about was maybe just telling your story and kind of understanding what everybody's going through and that you know what the steps are to take through this initial time of a disaster.
Yep. Well, crazy thing is we're going through a huge disaster right now. Everyone in the world, basically, you know, with all the coronavirus and everything that's going on. So that being said, you guys going through tornadoes and entering the tornado season, it's very important to have, you know, that disaster preparedness plan in place. So whenever a disaster happens, if you're ready for it, then your agency and your team will manage it in a better way. So I always say the 3 main talking points that we like to discuss whenever we talk about disaster preparedness. And as you know, we went through actually back-to-back hurricanes and an earthquake in, I don't know, 2 years. So it's been very rough,
Wow.
But we have been able to come out on top just because we were ready. So our 3 main things will always be, number 1, empathy. You gotta have empathy with yourself, your team, your clients, your community. If you do not have empathy and you think, well, this is just a disaster, let them handle it, then your agency will not be relevant. Number 2 is how do we use resources like PIA National to help us, PIA of Arkansas to help us out? How do we use resources about social media? What can we post? What should we post? And then last but not least, which I will be discussing a little bit later, it's about self-care. I mean, you have to take care of yourself. It's very easy to burn out in this type of situation, especially when you mix 2 disasters, the coronavirus and the tornadoes or flooding that are coming around more recently. So take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your team, and take care of your clients. Mike, you want to add something?
How does an agent actually not become worn out with being empathetic, because you feel like everybody's calling you in and you've got your own issues that you're doing as well as trying to take care of your clients? How do you keep up the positivity with that?
Well, number 1, let me be honest. It's not easy at all. Not easy. People tend to think, well, there's a script for this, or there's a plan, or there's many things you can do. However, usually you stay a little bit more at peace with yourself and your team, and you stay more positive if you are prepared. So how do you prepare yourself? Well, it starts by yourself, your family, and your office. So when you get to set up your family to let them know if a disaster happens, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to go from working 8 hours a day to 12 hours a day. But then we're going to have our family time at this exact hours. Same thing goes for your team. You have to understand your team are going to be working with claims and disaster preparedness and everything that comes around, and they need to have their family time themselves. So staying positive, the best way to do it is usually being ready for whatever's coming. So when you get ready, whether you set up, there's different types of plans. I always tell everyone you can do a 20-page plan or you can do a 1-page plan. whatever works for you and your agency, whether you're one person or you're 100 people, how do you set up and you prepare yourself? It's usually how you stay positive.
That's really good to know that, even like you said, for one person offices,
Yeah.
because we can all get overwhelmed very easily. So we're looking for ways to stay positive during all of this. And then you said one of the second talking points that you do is actually the resources that you have. I liked what you said about knowing what to post on Facebook, because everybody's so concerned about, is this appropriate? Is this okay? Is this going to offend? Am I doing something I'm not supposed to? So how do you know what is okay to post on Facebook and what's not?
Well, social media is probably the most important communication resource you have for yourself. So how do you communicate with your clients? And I mean, I don't want to sound bad on this, but usually everyone's one that, 5 minutes of fame. So
yeah,
interestingly, studies have shown that when a disaster happens, people, when they get their power back, they get their internet, their cell phone signal, whatever, that lets them connect to social media, they are not calling their grandparents or their parents. They're looking at social media first. Most of the people do that. It's crazy, right? And usually they want to post either videos of what happened or something like that. So this is the time where your agency needs to be out there. It needs to post stuff about information, about how to handle claims, about numbers to call. So this is where you become insurance educator as much as you can, but you also become a guide for your clients. So you're not selling insurance right now. That's showing no empathy. That's not being nice. What you're doing is you're showing people, number one, you care. Number two, you're here for them. And number three, where should they go? Something as simple as following local guidelines, state guidelines, federal guidelines, and you can access those pages for free. Remember, this is all free information, and you can repost it and repost it and repost it, because at least one client is going to look at that and be very thankful at you, because for the first time they felt comfort. So they know where to go, they know what to do, and that just adds a lot of value to your agency. So when we say use social media as the number one resource for communications, we always say that it's important that you do not post about selling. So when you say something like, if a tornado just crashed your house and the insurance wasn't proper, you did not have the proper insurance, give us a call. We'll get you a better insurance. That's just not the way to go. If you do that, you're not showing any empathy at all, and you're basically setting up yourself for your own disaster.
That's what I like. There's times that I go look at Facebook that I've seen something and I need to know it again, and I'll refer back to it so that I will go back to that same page. So to me, that's great for that agency to be known as the resource center. And they get more and more people to come visit their page and understand what type of insurance agency they actually are. So when you're talking about self-care, I'm wanting to know more about that, about how do you do your self-care, because if you're not your best self, you sure can't help anybody else. So what is your advice and your tips about self-care during a time like this?
That's usually the hardest part. I always come back to this, and whenever I teach disaster preparedness in Puerto Rico or around the States, I always go back to a good friend of ours, actually a past PIA national president, which is Richie Clements from Louisiana. When we went to Hurricane Maria, obviously everyone loves Richie. He's a smart man. When we went to Hurricane Maria, he called me up the moment we got signal, which was probably a week afterwards, and he said, listen, Ariel, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your team, and take care of your clients, but more importantly, take care of yourself, because claims are not going to stop. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. And as claims don't stop and processes are going to be very slow, mentally and physically, you are going to hit rock bottom, because you want to be there for your clients. Listen, if you work in insurance, it's because you actually love working with people and you want to help people out. So that was one of the biggest things Richie taught me. And you know what? I was stubborn enough and I didn't listen. I was working 20 hours a day. Yes. So I have never actually told Richie this, but it was very bad for my health. And at the end, it got to a point that even clients will see us 6 months afterward. And they will look at me and say, oh my God, what has happened to you? And I'll tell them, I don't know, 2 hurricanes in 20 days, 1,500 claims. And after 6 months, I actually burned out. Most of my team actually burned out, and then we realized we needed to slow down because the
Yeah.
claim we want to close now is probably not going to close in 3 months, and it's hard. Not because, I mean, if you can, as an agency owner, you want to pay your clients all their claims, and you want to make sure everything is done. But it's very hard because you depend on an adjuster from an insurance carrier. Now, I always tell people empathy goes from yourself to your client and your team, but it has to go also to the adjusters and the carriers because you have to think that maybe that adjuster that's working your claim, he also lost something. Isn't that crazy? We say, well, you got to pay my home or you got to pay my office. Well, have you ever thought about that the person adjusting your claim probably lost his home as well? So when we talk about we mix empathy and self-care, we always say take care of yourself, be nice to others, but at the same time understand what's going on because that person might have lost something. Probably yes, probably no. We'll never know. But if you show them empathy, they'll be nice.
Ariel, I appreciate you visiting with us about that because I think sometimes we forget that during disaster times or times of, right now the pandemic that's going on is that we all are very frustrated and we all are very overwhelmed. And sometimes we just forget to smile and be nice and take our
Be
time with
nice.
everybody, especially ourselves. We get very
Yep,
frustrated
yep.
with ourselves.
And one thing I
But
love to, I
I
mean,
appreciate
no, sorry to cut you in, is when I say my story, a lot of people say, well, you actually burn out. And the way I teach now, I prepare myself to let everyone know I don't want you to go through what I went through. I mean, my health, I got sick. I almost spent 1 year without seeing my daughter that I love with all my heart, without seeing my family. And that's not somewhere you want to go. So when you plan your thing, when you do a planning on what's going to happen if a disaster hits your agency, one of the things you got to include in your plan, as I said earlier, is how much time are you going to spend on working? How much time are you going to spend exercising? Are you going to eat healthy or not? Do not skip a meal. So these are things that sound so simple, but when you're working 100 claims a day, trust me, you're not eating. You're not doing anything. So use the alarms on your cell phones or smart devices or whatever, and make sure you set up a time to drink water, you set up a time to eat some food, you set up a time to stand up and walk around. Obviously, now you can't go out because of the coronavirus, but do something for yourself.
that is our great tips. Even for me, just being in the office on a regular day, that's a good
Yeah,
idea. Is to time block out and to make sure that we're getting up and getting fresh air, even if it's just down the hallway and
yeah,
coming back, like you said. Or, walk around your building and then go right back inside and wash your hands. But I know that these benefits that you've given us are from a personal point of view. Mike with PA National, he's our CEO and our great leader that we have. Do you have some benefits that National can help out with during a time like this of disaster and pandemic?
We do, and I think Ariel, thank you for sharing those tips. And as Stacy said, you don't need to be going through a disaster to be empathetic and kind to others and to take care of yourself. So great advice. But for those of you that are going through a disaster, first and foremost, we want to let you know that PIA is here for you. We are thinking of you and those around you, and we want to hear from you. And let us know what we can do to provide greater assistance to you. One of the programs that we do have available today for you, it's a partnership with a company called Avast eForms Wizards, and this is a software platform that has hundreds of ACORD forms, also carrier-specific forms, and it's different because you can work right off of your laptop or your tablet, whatever your technology you're using, and you don't need internet to start the claims process, as an example. So if you're in a city or a town or a community that's been riddled by some form of a disaster, like a tornado or a flooding event, you can get it out there, as Ariel was saying, right, and communicate and be a resource for your insureds. But you can also start the claims process, even if the town or the community or specifically your tablet or laptop doesn't have internet. This software program that's downloadable and licensed right to your computer can help you start the claims process right with your insureds. And it also has many other benefits, including on the sales side, but for a disaster, this is a great way to get out into the community. And just by being a PIA member, you're provided a free bronze level access and license to this. So you don't need to purchase anything right now. It's just something that if you haven't already downloaded and licensed the program yet, we can help you do that. So you can reach out to me or my team in the Washington, D.C. area, but certainly Stacy down in Arkansas to get that process started. And if it's something that you're using and you like, or you want to begin the process through the bronze level, then upgrade. We're actually have a 50% off discount. It's just $50 for the entire year for all of the enhanced features. But it's a great tool that when we've seen different parts of this country devastated by some sort of natural disaster or the like, this is a program that we put right in front of agents around the country to help them get out into the communities and to begin that claims process with their insured. So, but first and foremost, as an organization, our hearts are with you. We're thinking of you. And if there's anything we can do, we want to know. We want to hear from you. So please check in and please let us know.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you being on the call today, as well as Ariel. You guys have been amazing, and I really do believe that this is what an association is built for, is to reach out to other people that have been through the disasters and things like this and use their information and their wisdom and share it. So again, I appreciate you guys being with us today. Thank you so much.